Hello, my name is Cohen Wills, and I own and operate 20 the UPS store franchise locations across Tampa and South Georgia, and I want to be your FAC representative. I've been involved in the UPS stores for 8 years now and involved with my local co op for a little over 2 years now. And I can't wait to tell you a little bit more about my platform, so thanks for taking a second to listen. So, before you vote for anybody, you probably want to know who they are. I grew up in the epicenter of nowhere, conveniently located 1 hour away from any major city in the southeastern part of the state of Georgia. I spent 6 years as a CPA. My first year I spent at a small firm in Atlanta called Bennett Thrasher, where we specialized in rap clients. So I worked really closely with guys like Young Jeezy, Ludacris, CeeLo Green. After doing that for about a year, I looked in the mirror and I realized that I probably wasn't the kind of person that was going to make a career in that long term. So I transitioned over to Ernst& Young, where I spent 2 years working with their wealth management and personal financial services division. After doing that CPA work for about 3 years, I realized that I hated being a CPA and I wanted to do literally anything else besides that. And so I got a little excited about my father's small business at the time called the UPS Store franchise. And so I jumped on board to help him grow and develop that business. So at the time, he had 6 locations. Fast forward 4 years later, my father, brother-in-law, and myself operate 20 of the UPS Store locations, with me serving as the head of operations of all of those locations. I'd be remiss to mention my beautiful 1-year-old daughter. Anytime I get a platform, I'm going to try and talk about her a little bit. She does the cutest stuff all the time. She's not always the greatest with babies yet, as you guys can tell. But hey, we're going to keep working with her before baby number 2 shows up next year. So we're super excited about that. And so the main question, of course, is why do I want to run for FAC? Whenever I first got into this business, I planned on doing this for 4, maybe 5 years, selling this thing off to somebody else and moving on to the next business. But while doing this for the last couple of years, I realized that I really love our business. And despite some of the grievances that I have with UPS sometimes, and trust me, my wife can tell you there's plenty of those grievances, I still really love what I do. And I can see myself doing this all the way through retirement. And I want to make sure that this business stays viable for me to be able to do this for the rest of my life. And I tell everybody, the thing that I love about the UPS stores the most is because our biggest competition is the United States Post Office that hasn't renovated a building in 30 or 40 years and refuses to embrace technology. But I do strongly feel like if we had serious competition, we would be blockbusters right now, because we have not been able to evolve and transition like a lot of our competitors and people in other segments have. I also want to make sure that somebody's actually out there when we're talking to the UPS stores that's focused on the franchisee's best interest and be willing to call them out on negotiations that just don't seem like they're going to do that. I think poly bags and the new pack standards are like the best example of that ever, where there just isn't any way that anyone can argue that that's in the franchisee's best interest. Another platform that I'd really like to use is, as a CPA, I really see a clear path for us to be able to increase our gross margin across all of our stores by 5%. The way that I would start by doing that is really increasing our corporate focus on high margin profit centers, primarily being mailbox services, notaries, and shredding, because that's something that, regardless of whether you're into print or not, you can really get behind those and do those things 100% well. And if you're behind print, even better. One more profit center to help grow our margin across the network. When it comes to mailboxes, I think that we need to do a couple really simple tack-on adjustments. We should really have an auto subscription option for month-to-month payments where we're not harassing or trying to hunt down all of our mailbox customers to pay us. I tell everybody all the time, if I had my Netflix bill being billed to me once a year, where they were calling me up saying, hey Cohen, it's time to pay your $200 for Netflix, I would not have Netflix right now, I'll be honest. But for the last 2.5 years, I get billed 12, 14 bucks a month, every single month, and I don't even think about it. That is the key to successful subscriptions, and I think we at least need to have an option to be able to pursue that. We need an online portal for our mailbox customers to actually sign up for mailboxes and to manage and pay their mailbox, so that we can do a lot more online ads to get mailbox customers in our stores. We have a huge opportunity that we're not even embracing right now in offering real virtual mailboxes. Our biggest competitor in the scene is a company called iPostal One, and that company generates over $500 a month in revenue for stores that are participating with it at 100% profit. If the UPS stores went into this market, we would totally dominate not only the top player in iPostal 1, but everybody else, because we've got locations everywhere for people to choose from. I also would think that we have a huge opportunity to negotiate a lot harder with vendors. There's no reason why Shore's pricing should be, that we're getting as a network of thousands of stores, should be competitive with what I can pull a magazine out and order from Uline. I think we have a huge opportunity to negotiate with our paper vendors, whether that be LexJet, Mac Papers, Veritiv, whatever section or whatever vendors you have in your part of the country. Our iShip fees are high and our UPS rates are way too low. I think that we have a huge opportunity in making CMS smarter with just a couple simple changes. We should be able to, since we're asking for people's driver's licenses anyways, we should have an integration to be able to swipe their driver's license to get all of their ship from information. As well as once this information is in the system, it should sync up automatically to our constant contact so that we can have better CRM processes for advertising to those customers. And of course, I think we're all in agreement that we need digital PSOs on a customer screen. This is not something complicated. Any software company could develop this in less than 30 days. There's already companies out there that aren't iShip that have this kind of technology that can be bought right now. We need way better training with print. I got into the print game about 3 years ago, and I was so confused by the training that was out there. We actually, in our organization, we have written our very own print training. I'm happy to share with people out of the corporate office because I think we have a huge opportunity to get people more involved with print just by teaching them a little bit more about how to do it on the back end. I think that having a Fiery on multifunction printers, whenever you have a production machine right next to it that you're using your Fiery RIP, is just a complete use of franchisee funds and shouldn't be anything that we're required to have if we're not going to use it. And most importantly, as a print person myself with several extremely successful print stores, I think we need a corporate sponsored outsource system that basically is a 4-over for that. Instead of outsourcing to 4-over where it's going to take a week, we have the option to outsource to our highly capable print stores that are already in the network and give those guys the business instead of giving it to 4-over. That'll increase the profitability of our network, and it'll reduce the turnaround times that we have with 4-over. And once again, I've developed my own training for our stores that works, and anybody who reaches out to me, I'd be more than happy to provide that to them for free. I'm just all about trying to get everybody else as involved and excited about this network as I am, for sure. One of the last points is I really think that it's time for new blood and a new direction for our FAC representative for Region 1. Our current FAC representative has been on the board for almost a decade now. Anytime you have the opportunity, I think it's a great option to just have new ideas, new opinions, and trust me, you can ask anybody who knows me in the network, Cohen Will certainly has opinions. Not only do I want to represent my own opinions and the ones that'll help be in good interest for my 20 locations, I want to hear from you guys and find out what I can do to help represent your opinions. So thank you so much for taking some time to hear me out. I look forward to being able to represent you and get something done for Region 1. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of the day.